meeting to order at, what is it? 6:05. First is roll call.
Darren Mercer.
Tom Pfaff.
Regina Riddell.
Bill McMahon.
Alright. We do not have minutes this month. We didn't have minutes from last month. So it'd be what? June meeting. I'll have to talk with Jamie to see if she has those. On old business, just a quick update on the joint zoning ordinance update. We had a meeting scheduled for today, and I found out last week that they canceled. So we're trying to get Charlie Ray, Lori, Randy, if you want to be part of it, and Doug Beege, all, and then Bill and myself there in a meeting. But he canceled. We have 4 other dates available. I don't know, Bill, if this wasn't bringing up today. Everyone said they can do the dates except for on the 29th at the impact. Or Lori can't do it on the 29th. But there's 4 other dates. Let me pull that up.
What are the other dates?
So we got 8:27, 8:28, and 8:30 at 9 a.m. And we can have up to 3 planning commission members present, I believe, right?
Yeah, that's a quorum's for.
Yeah, Alex, you know, those don't work.
Okay. I think it's, I know Charlie's been I talked to Charlie last week. He's working on getting all his, like on the Westville page, all that information prepared for that meeting. It got postponed. I didn't get it yet, so I'm going to reach out to him and see if he can get that done next week and maybe get it out to everybody. But he has a sheet he's working on with all the modifications to the report, or the joint zoning ordinance. On new business, we have the Dollar General Distribution Center. This one, they had their grand opening 2 weeks ago now. This is really an awful opportunity for Westville. It's great for the county. North Point, we had gone through them when they're going through their due diligence period of purchasing this building. We had 2 meetings with North Point, and then also I know McMahon met with them on water, had a conference call with them on water and sewer, a follow-up meeting after that. But they purchased the building. They've invested I think it's $28 million into the facility. They've refurbed all they have ammonia chillers in there, I believe is what they are, cooling all those different units. But it can get done. They can draw those sections of the warehouse down to -10 degrees, I guess. So they replaced, I think, all the compressed air piping in there too. There was a lot of work that went in, but it was, I mean, if it wouldn't have been done now, this building might have been gone.
Oh, yeah, you might have lost it.
Yeah. To think that but they saw us as a great opportunity, our area, and the county, a great county to invest into. We responded quickly. The county responded quickly. I think we responded quickly, and that kind of helped draw North Point in. And now Dollar General has set up their distribution center here, which is really neat, considering all the different dollar stores in this area, and they're all going to be feeding out. So there's around 80 jobs, I think, that are going to be coming out.
It's also kind of neat to be out in Illinois and be here in the Chicago market, so they're advertising for Westville out there.
Yeah, that's great. And there's opportunity for more too. You can see that there's 380,000 more warehouse space available. So we might hear more conversations. I just think it's important for a planning commission or town to know that this is happening. There might be, who knows, if somebody from the county conversations start happening, it might help us make another possibility happen like this. Other than that, does anybody have any questions on that facility, or it's a huge building. I've never been in there until now, 2 weeks ago, and I can't believe how big it was. The office is 30,000 square feet, just went on and on and on.
I was amazed at the county officials that actually were very, very nice and gave a lot of compliments to the town of Westville. I mean, they didn't have to do that,
Yeah.
but they did. They made several comments about being able to work with Westville.
I think the whole Fort County Economic Development, they're definitely bringing us on board as a
I
partner.
think so too.
And I noticed that on the, rural internet broadband committee, we're like one of the only towns that have been really active in that.
Well, I give that to you. You're the connection that's making that happen.
It's gonna be a good opportunity for Westville and
Mhm.
Fort. There's a lot of rural areas between us, and like, if you look going to Little Fort, there's so many dead spots along the road, Norfolk Southern Railroad. I know people are trying to open up businesses down there and they can't get internet service. Bill, do you have internet service down by you yet with Acme?
I don't. I need to get a hold of them to see if it's possible. They did the utility survey and, the locating, and they, by our place, and they saw that, I guess they just put it into the street department now. So I don't know if it's in there or if it's going there.
So if they get in the street department, they'll be able to.
Yeah, but they'll be
Yeah,
close
right.
enough at that point.
Yeah, well, that's great. So then, once they get the hurdle of getting past the street department, I'm sure they'll keep moving along, hopefully down Main Street, get down to Pet Paradise, and probably I don't know if where they stop, I don't know if they went around the curve, if they fit UPS and all those locations too, but water and wastewater would be good to get tagged that too.
It would be really cool. 'Cause I know that with, Surf Air Wireless, it's just not the most dependable service in town.
Yeah. We've had issues with we have 2 internet services, so we can flop back and forth, keep it going.
Are you guys up at New Durham with your tower yet?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
I got one priced, and I just need to pull the trigger. Nervous to I always get nervous when you're doing a project, but one thing we're still waiting for I've been working with Acme too to make sure that we have the right technology put up at the right time. Because right now, 5G, they release a lot of licensed products, so we're kind of waiting to see what the standards come out to. But that's not gonna slow the tower up. Or the antenna up, because once we get the antenna up, we'll just wait for the right technology to come.
Sometimes I don't have always the best frame of reference for height. And so you're 80 feet, right?
Yes.
So 80 feet, what's the water tower?
Oh, I don't know, maybe higher than that. The poles, NIPSCO poles are 65 feet tall on 421.
Okay.
So we're gonna be but we're lower than those, if that makes sense. I think we're on the low spot.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to put it there, that was the only way we could really stay off the highway far enough to have good coverage of the community. But that's why we had to go taller. If we were higher, we probably could have stuck with a 65-foot pole.
Okay.
So, I would have rather a 65-foot pole. I might even be able to get by with the utility pole.
Well, I was just thinking in terms of your 80 feet, like, can you also sell that product to, like, Westville residents and that?
If it's, the problem, 5G, it's high intensity in a smaller area, like a
Okay.
smaller footprint. 4G, I think you can go out further.
Okay.
That's what Surf Air uses, I think, so. But yeah, that's, and I don't know if, one thing talking to Fort County Economic Development, they're really pushing to get fiber internet out to, like, the KIP. I don't know if they have fiber out to Barton Nash facility, but that's another.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to know.
What are they talking about for a rollout date with the nearly 30 satellites that Elon Musk sent up?
I'm not sure on that.
Do you know anything about it?
I think I heard a little mention of it, but.
So the deal with that is that not quite 30, but like 28 or something satellites, so that they will encircle the globe, and they're getting them up now. And so they're going to be able to you can get Wi-Fi, like cellular-based Wi-Fi, anywhere. Like you could be in the middle of Africa and get it.
I did hear about that.
And I just thought, man, I wonder if that is going to change the viability of the long-term infrastructure that we have in this country, because if it winds up being faster or better, why would you invest in infrastructure?
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to function like HughesNet, though, because HughesNet's satellite.
Okay.
The problem with satellite is the upload, it goes in like spurts, I think it can get a little, it works, I mean, it's good, especially in the middle, if you're in an area that has nothing.
Sure.
I don't know how these 30 new satellites rolling out are gonna be. HughesNet is a satellite company, but I've heard complaints about the speed
Okay.
because of the lag. But that doesn't mean that this new technology coming out is not gonna be, I haven't researched it enough, but I did hear about it, and that's gonna be, open the door for people in rural areas that have nothing.
Right, and when I read about it, and they were talking about its impact on people in remote areas, I thought, well, that's the whole purpose of, this county-wide push to get it out. And I thought, well, I wonder if you guys are doing the same thing.
I think they're looking, and we're basically all the different options and what's best. There's a big push for fiber because the long-term projections are fiber's gonna be, where fiber is, that's where businesses are gonna wanna go. I think he was talking about at the Kingsbury ordinance, or the KIP, that there's I think it's an engineering firm, or I thought it was an engineering firm. They said they could add a lot more staff if they had high-speed internet, but.
I kind of think it's where I'm consulting at. It's a master role.
Is it?
Master role, their bottleneck is the internet service.
Yeah.
They have the fastest internet service you can get out in, the ordinance plant. And so anyhow, you can't add any more office staff because you're already at capacity. They're beyond capacity.
And I heard he said they were shipping flash drives,
Okay.
mailing flash drives.
And that is true.
To get information out, so that's probably that point. I think they're close, they're working on getting fiber out there, so I think there's conversations with, Comcast, but.
Okay. That's gonna be a big deal to get it out there in that park.
Yeah, and that's like here, that's out there south of town, that'd be something to talk with Acme. I think the goal of that is, I'm off topic a little bit on this internet broadband, but, our goal, I think the goal right now with municipalities, or the committee I'm part of, is to interview or have a questionnaire for each one of these companies and what their future projections are and what they're gonna do in LaPorte County. Where do they wanna build, where are they planning to build out? If they'll tell us that, kind of where they're gonna grow, are they gonna stay stagnant, keep the customers they got, kind of where they're going. So that way we can tell with our planning, if it's already in place and who's gonna work with us in different areas of the county.
Is that something that you're in talks with already, or do you need to get a list of people together and kind of get that ball rolling?
We're getting basically right now, we just got those questions we haven't gotten yet. We're gonna ask some of the other counties that have done this process.
Sure.
What questions they ask. We'll probably
Okay.
tailor those questions.
I was just saying, I wouldn't mind reaching out to some of those providers to kind of put that picture together if you wanted me to, so.
Yeah, I can let you know. I don't know if I'm gonna be in those meetings directly or not yet, because they're wondering how many people they wanna have in the meetings from a time standpoint with some of these companies. If they're gonna have 2 people, if they're gonna have the whole committee, or.
Sure. Well, like I said, if you get in a situation where you need to parcel some of the stuff off to make it scalable so you can get it done, let me know.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'll let them know. So, they may be more interested in having more people on there too, because they're not only just doing that, they're also mapping, they're doing GIS, all the different structures in the county. Because there's, if you're doing towers and stuff, that solution, then you're gonna be off of buildings. So, the next on our agenda is the pharmacy. This was brought up, about a month ago, 3 weeks ago? It was kind of, Dave reached out to myself, I don't know if he reached out to any, I know it was on Nextdoor. He was trying to encourage Phil's Pharmacy, I believe, reaching out to them to see if they'd be interested. He had a petition kind of pulled together, trying to reach out to them to see if they'd be interested in, I think, leasing part of that.
Well, what happened with all that? I told Dave about Phil's Pharmacy. Because some guy up in Water Tower Place put on Nextdoor when Dave made a comment about we need the pharmacy, and I've got room in my store, I'd be more than happy to have them come in and all that. A guy put on there that the town has, and the council members have not done anything. They've not done anything to help get a pharmacy in here. So, when I heard about that...
The guy said that, or Dave said that?
The guy
The
did.
guy said.
So when I heard that, I thought, well, I I think I'm gonna respond to that. So I did, and I chronologically listed everything that the council has done since since 2016 or 17, something like that. And we've done all kinds of things. We've paid our attorney to send letters to CVS and beg them to stay. We paid our attorney to write a letter to Hometown Pharmacy or something like that. We have the president and CEO of the LaPorte Hospital here at the town hall in the conference asking what we could do. Can we work together to maybe they can help us with a pharmacy? And so that kind of ticked me off, so I went ahead and I did respond to it. And then I forget, I think Dave emailed me and said, you know, do you have, no, I emailed him, and I said, this is all the information for Phil's Pharmacy that you need. And I said, if you're really interested in getting a pharmacy in your store, this is how you can make contact with Phil's Pharmacy and see if they'll do anything. Well, he made contact, and then he got back with me, and he said, I've made contact 10 days ago, and they've not responded to me. He said, can the town council or somebody at the town do something for us? And I said, I have no problem bringing it up at the planning commission or the council, either one. But I said, we have done a lot to try to get a pharmacy to stay here and to come here. So I said, I just feel like that needs to be told. Because it's not that we've not done anything, we've done everything we possibly can. So then he wants this petition, and then that's where you came into the mix.
Yeah. And I don't know what everyone's thoughts. I think the support letters, I think that's really, if you're trying to get a business to come in, a support letter from your, it could be from the planning commission, town council, it could be from both, joint one.
Sure, sure. And it'd be easy to assimilate a letter letting them know what we've done, you know, and have us all sign off. It wouldn't be an issue at all. But I really take it kind of, it's a bad taste in my mouth when people, this man hasn't lived here 6 or 9 months. He had no idea what the town has done. Absolutely no idea. And to be that critical on a social page, it just didn't sit well with me. It just didn't. But I was very nice. I let my husband read it before I posted it, and he said, yeah, you did good. He said,
Good builder. That and a good night's sleep.
Yeah, you did good.
I don't know if you should trust a retired cop to judge whether or not you're too brash or not.
No, you know what? I made this statement, you know, we could not make it happen. And if Dave can, that's wonderful. Congratulations, Dave. You know, I mean, and I hope for the best. I hope he can do it. But I don't think that we need to sign a petition. Personally, I don't want to sign a petition. I'd be willing to write up and sign my name on a letter.
Sure. I think that's a good idea. And there is another pharmacy that opened in DeMont. So I kind of did a little research. I read some articles on the pharmacy that opened. It's an independent pharmacy in DeMont. And they partnered with, it must have been a franchise almost for pharmacy. That's probably how they get their drugs or however they set those, it's probably your computers and all that stuff so you can operate. But the pharmacist actually lived in DeMont. And it was, so when Fagan got bought out by CVS or acquired by CVS, they were in the Tyson store probably leasing property. And then it sounded like CVS closed all the properties that they were being leased. So Fagan was in there with Tyson's grocery store and it closed. So it was already set up for a pharmacy. So this pharmacist saw a need and he ended up fronting the money to start a new pharmacy.
They could probably get back in their old location, but they'd have to fight for it.
Yeah.
You know, jiu-jitsu's too good.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
I don't know if it'd be worth, it could be worth talking to that pharmacist out of DeMont's not going to probably jump and want to start another one right now because I'm sure that's a lot of savings to get in a small business if it's your first time. That's
Sure.
Really a challenge. But it might be worth talking to them, understanding startup costs, like what does really a pharmacist need to start up? Like I would be, if there's construction that needs to be done, what are some costs you're expecting as a pharmacist, and what's a realistic for our town?
But, I mean,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, because that's gonna help us understand location, where we're gonna be able to advertise, you know, or so. If there is a location in town and we identify that as a location, that'll help us give someone a real location.
Well, there's room in Dave's store. He
Yeah.
could set up a little pharmacy area. He could easily. And it would be ideal.
That would be,
It really would.
But I mean, just from what I've seen, because Dave has a tendency to put things on Nextdoor app quite a bit. I mean, is he even gonna be around before we type a letter? He's constantly on there basically telling everybody he's about broke and he's gonna
Yeah.
be pulling out soon, and
Yeah.
if he doesn't start getting customers,
He's afraid he's got to close his business.
Yeah, so-
I've seen that a lot too.
I mean, we draw up a letter and,
The next door ad.
Unfortunately, I just got it like literally a couple of days ago.
Okay.
I wish I didn't.
yeah, it's terrible. Well, all social media is terrible, but, I mean, that's the only thing that concerns me, is he's always singing the gloom and doom.
He is, you're right. He is.
Which I feel would push people away. Like, I've
Mhm.
seen that other places, and I'm just like, man, why are you spraying customer repellent everywhere?
You're exactly right. It's like a business that's got a for sale sign in the window, and on one window, and the next window, it's got special of the week.
Right.
Will you still be in business when that special comes up? I mean, really, it's not good. It's not good business.
yeah. So maybe it's worth having we could have a sit down, try to understand, you know.
Well, you know, he hurt his leg, and I know that's probably a real problem, because he said, I'm not going to be able to get it fixed till September, because I don't have the money or something. So he has that little scooter thing, you know, that he's on. So I'm sure that's a real problem for him, and that's a worry, because he is hurt. But, you know, I don't know. But I'm willing to sign my name to the letter.
Yeah, I would do. And I'm sure if you had somebody interested, they would have conversation, see if it's a good fit, and let them make that decision, you know, on their partnership,
Sure.
you know.
Well, that's why.
Well, it could be a general letter too, it doesn't have to be to a specific location, it could be, you know, it could be a letter out to saying the town of Westville is interested in having a pharmacy here, and.
I would be willing to even just give the letter today. And
Yeah.
say you could use this however you want to.
Yeah.
Make copies of it if you want to.
That's a good idea. We'll kind of see where that goes. I think that's a good start. I think, you know, just if anybody's poking around the internet and doing research, I think it's interesting what you can find. You research independent pharmacies. I was trying to look at trends. It does sound like they're not going down, but they're kind of staying flat, maybe going up slightly. So it's not like independent pharmacies are closing everywhere. This was, in our area, the situation where an independent got bought out. So when the big corporate companies buy them out, they're going to close them.
And it is unusual for the size of area that we're in, that a big corporate pharmacy buys everything out. It is unusual.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not usually the norm. You find that in your bigger cities. But little birds like us,
Sure.
it's just not the norm, because I wouldn't think, to be honest with you, I wouldn't think that it would be advantageous for them financially to do that, because we're not a huge market here. We got a need, but we're not a huge market like you would find in the cities.
I think the rule on that's usually, you know, if you think that you're gonna get their customers, then you buy them out.
Yeah.
But there's nothing to stop us to go to Meijer or to go to Walgreens or any other place, you know, so there's no guarantee that they would recoup that.
And CVS has been doing something, recently, I was reading about it. It is, you know, these mail order prescriptions, that a lot of I think United Way, or no, not United Way, United Healthcare is big on that. OptumRx is one of the big mail prescription moguls. Anyway, CVS is now partnering with a lot of those online pharmacies that send you to the mail, USPS, and you can go to CVS now, and the UPS side of it, USPS side of that is not going to fight payment. Now, if you go like to Walgreens, you can do that 1 or 2 times with United Healthcare. But if you keep going, then they send you a letter and say, we want you to get it through RX through the mail. And they won't pay for it anymore.
Mhm.
But CVS somehow has got into that whatever it is, that little scheme. And now Optum RX is okay, you can go there too, and we'll pay for it. Which I think that's very interesting that CVS has done that. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but maybe in the long run it will, I don't know.
Well, even like Shipt is I think they got into I have to check, but they got, was it Walgreens set up where they
will
deliver
do
to
that.
Westville?
Yeah, they will do that.
I don't know if they do I thought they did the pharmacy part of it too, delivery,
Mhm.
you know, but you
They
can,
will.
you can order it online and it delivers in an hour and a half.
The ship's coming to Westville now?
It's in one.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
So that's another competitor, because they do like what, Target, Meyer, and
sure.
I think Walgreens and Pet Supply.
I love shit.
Yeah, but, so that's, the online pharmacy, that's a whole other component we deal with here, because we're 10 miles away from major players in the online market, like CVS, Walgreens, and them too. But not everyone knows how to order stuff online and have it delivered
That's true.
to their house. It is,
Very true.
it can be a little weary doing that for some.
Some people, yeah, it is. They really don't understand the concept of online ordering.
Yeah.
They're not used to it. Scary.
So I think I guess the start will do the annexation, or not, gosh, I'm jumping at. The pharmacy will do the support letter. We'll get that drafted and give a copy of that to Dave, and kind of see where that goes. And we'll follow up with them and see how his discussions have gone with Phil's Pharmacy. I'll try to give him that contact for Demont,
Okay.
if he's interested in that.
And you're good with writing that letter?
We might have one.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we have a couple that the attorney sent. We could just use it as a
Sure.
template.
Yeah, we might have. I think Ethan did one.
Yeah,
I'm
he
not
did
trying to be
couple.
funny about it, but I feel like, I was kind of involved in that last kind of go around on the letters and kind of brought him in with that, so.
Yeah, if we don't have, will you be interested?
I'm just saying, he might be a little sensitive to that, being that I was kind of like the face of soliciting them in before, and I'm like, hey, I can do it if you need me to, it's fine, I just don't know if
Let me,
I'm for that or not.
Let me look and see, into my emails and see if Ethan can
Yeah,
post
see if
one.
you have it, and if you don't, I'll put one together.
I think it's the one for Hometown Pharmacy that you're talking about.
Is it Hometown Pharmacy?
I think they're out of Michigan or Minnesota, one or the other. Up north.
Oh, we could just get a list of independent franchises.
That's
Just
exactly.
send them all.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Give them a map,
Mm-hmm.
conference, kind of where we are.
Just put the feelers out and see what happens.
Yeah. The last discussion point is annexation. I don't know, Regina, you wanna lead off with it, or?
Yeah, the council has been talking, and Darren and I have been talking about the need for annexation. With this center that's come on, the police department is going to be very, very busy. It's going to really jack it up. And for what we need, we don't have the revenue with the tax base to actually do what we need to do with the police department, anytime jump in. So we were talking about the best way to do that is to think about friendly, obviously, annexation. And there's several things we could do. Now, knowing that when you annex, it's a long drawn-out affair. A friendly annexation can last 3, 4, 5 years. But I don't think that I would be willing to try to do any type of condemnation on property and all that stuff in the domain. I wouldn't want to do that. But if we could find something that is maybe already has some buildings that will help with the tax base and get some money coming in, it would help eventually do what we need to do to be able to protect this community, because it's going to grow. It's already starting. You can feel some of the things that are happening really easily. So annexation makes sense, but we need to make sure that we're using our heads when it comes to annexation. And at the center out there are 2 properties or three that are contiguous to the old roundies?
I think, yeah,
Three or two?
I wanna say 2, but I might be wrong.
Okay.
And
Anyway,
you're going down 1100,
I'm going down 421.
okay.
And we turn there off of, there's one that's off of 1100, and then there's 2 that's on down in Clinton Township.
Right.
But anyway, that would be ideal to be able then to do some TIF districting and for some manufacturing or industrial type businesses. And it would be ideal for that. You know, it's got the spur there and everything. The other thing is the corridor. And years ago, when they talked about doing something with Kenmore besides taking money, that was one of the things that was discussed about using the 421 corridor between Westville and 2. And of course, the McNairs at one time seemed to be interested. I don't think they are now in being a part of that. They had talked about letting us annex them for a while. On the west side, who owns that on the west side besides you?
McNair's on both sides of the
Okay, okay. So, that's been discussed in the years too. But, you know, I think if we sit down as a group and use our heads and think of the pros and the cons of annexation, I think we have a lot to offer for someone that wants to come into our town proper. You want to go ahead and...
I spent some time, I mean, as far as on my side of it, and I don't understand the process of annexation, I've never taken part in it. But for me, in my position with the town, I think of the places that we're already providing services to and that we're not getting any revenue from. So we're already providing services. I mean, we will go as far south as we have to for an emergency call. I mean, the guys have gone down to La Crosse when we got LaPorte County guys screaming for help, so they'll race down there. But realistically, we provide services to the south junction of 6 and 421. I mean, we're there.
Yeah.
So, and then and going north, we're constantly at the University Park Apartments. So they're already getting services. And if you go down 6 or State Road 2, we're already providing services to the county line because there's that small section that's unincorporated, that's LaPorte County, but the LaPorte County guys are never going to get there before us. We're always there. I mean, so, and then you've got, obviously, the east side of 421 that's not in town limits between 375 and Dollar General there. And we handle all the accidents there. We will handle emergency calls at Dollar General. So we're already providing those services. So it makes sense for us to annex and make Westville a continuous, a nice, neat package. I did talk to the sheriff when I came back from, he actually came and spent a couple hours with me at the office about a week and a half ago. And so I talked to him about it, and, because I mean, we've developed a very good working relationship, and he was pretty excited about the idea, so I don't know if we need any support from the sheriff, if that would help or not, but I'm certain that the minute he knows that we're moving forward with annexing University Park Apartments and Nash Finch and those 2 little sections, the first thing he's going to do is say, yes, please do it now. Because it creates a situation where he's got to bring his guys, you know, maybe all the way down from State Road 8 up here, and really it makes sense for us to do it. It just does. I think it would be best for the town. I think it would, especially going north, because Nash Finch has got that, they have a 5-year abatement. So if you have to do it in stages, it would make sense to go north first because that's where the money is, and then see what kind of tax revenue you're going to get from there.
And I think there would not be I think that would be a friendly annexation. I really do, taking on South Coast.
And I think it would give us a buffer with the way that things are coming down 421 from Michigan City, because if we go to the toll road, let's say, then that's not gonna get developed any more than it already is.
That's right.
And it gives us a buffer from whatever congestion is gonna come down 421 with the development, because I think they've already planned to put sewer and everything down 421.
They have.
So, it
Who
just
was
seems,
planning to put sewer down?
support Michigan City, I mean,
So
I know the
Michigan City
commissioners
plans to
have,
come down to the full road.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I know the commissioners, when Dave was on,
Michigan City is ready to move south.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know when Dave was still a commissioner, he had said that there's already plans for sewer to come all the way down to 421.
Now, infrastructure's, that's part of the,
And he kept talking, I don't know what he was talking about, but he kept talking about some kind of bypass that's a done deal that's going in somewhere, that it directly impacts Westville, but I didn't understand the details of it.
well, I think originally the bypass was supposed to go to the east of us, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Is it like down Washington or something?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
But when he was doing his thing, he seemed to think that was a done deal, and it's just a matter of time before it goes in, but I don't know anything about it.
Well, I think if we're going to do anything, if we're gonna look at the future, we need to start now. I don't think we need to be talking anymore. I think we need to really get something in writing, maybe get a structure
Mhm.
plan for us, or what is it, your list, you call it, action list? Do something to get this process started, because taking on the university apartments and that property is gonna be no problem. I do not think it would be.
You know, we might wanna get some consulting from,
That,
Doug, or, there's an attorney in Valparaiso that's really familiar with annexation. Especially that,
yeah, I know who you're talking about. I've heard of his name before. And,
but that might not be a bad idea to give some guidance too on
Yeah.
what makes sense.
yeah,
And then it might not be a bad idea to sit down with the assessor,
yeah,
Mike Schultz, and see.
yeah.
I mean, even the amount of foot traffic I get during the day from people that live in University Park Apartments, they'll come in and they'll want some kind of police service,
Mm-hmm.
and I tell them, yeah, I'm sorry, but you're in LaPorte County. I mean, they're just like, no way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't wanna go to LaPorte. They don't wanna go there to deal with anything.
Yeah.
They're right here, so,
And I think that it would be ideal for at least the two of you, and Bill, if you can do it, to go talk with Mike Schultz.
I think it'd be a good,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so just coordinate with me and I'm happy to get
Because you
involved.
know exactly the areas that we need to think about annexing.
Mhm.
I mean, you've got that down. Why not get them in the town limits when you're taking care of it?
create a color
Mhm.
drawing.
oh yeah, just get the,
Get a marker out.
Yeah.
Is it possible that we want to identify one area or another that we want to go after first, or we're going to try to do everything
I
at
think-
once?
I think we
I
do
think-
that, break it in pieces,
Yeah,
in phases.
I think that probably our first phase would be the north.
yeah.
Yeah. That might.
You know, just to establish our boundary for
Mhm.
Michigan City, if nothing else.
That's
But
exactly
also
right.
to go ahead and take care and scoop up the university and all those residents there.
I don't know about the university, but I do know on the west side of
Okay.
421, we can get that.
Yeah, I
And
think
then we'll need to come down and all the contiguous properties we'll need to.
yeah, we wouldn't, there'd be no benefit of
We don't-
annexing the university, you're not getting any tax dollars from
No.
them.
Okay,
They're
but,
state funded.
but then just in the idea of making sense as far as what Westville is, where we are, and where our
Yeah.
boundaries are, it would make sense to go and get the university common,
Yeah.
and then go west all the way to county line, and then continue south to 6. That
Yeah.
way, people know, like, oh, I'm in LaPorte County, I'm in the corner of it, I'm in Westville.
Mhm.
And I totally understand that, I'm just thinking out loud from when Steve Turner came to that one meeting and we approached him about annexation, he said, absolutely not, it will never happen as long as I'm over there. But there he was at our comprehensive plan.
Yeah,
Okay,
and that's not a fight that I'm willing to put my dog in.
Yeah.
It really isn't.
yeah,
But I do want the west side.
yeah, absolutely, and I think we could get it.
I want the conservancy.
Mhm.
And by us taking it over, and they signed when we approved them to go into the conservancy, that they would not, what is it, whenever you... Remonstrate. Yeah, remonstrate. They would not remonstrate. Thank you.
We have an audience.
No.
I think I caught the tail end of this, but I do have a question. You're talking about P&W
Yeah.
Mhm.
specifically as far as annexation goes. I have no idea how this works, maybe one of you do. When a town, so say we were to do that, and we were looking into annex P&W, that side P&W, since they're a state school, how does that work for property tax?
We don't get it.
We want to get in.
Okay.
Mhm.
And they
I
have,
mean,
and the law enforcement aspect is not even an issue because they have a police
They have,
department.
yeah.
They have a
their
full-time
own.
police department, so I couldn't even argue that.
But I think the first thing we need to do is like what you were talking about, Bill and Tom. I think we need to sit down, we need to put some structure together. What-
Yeah, absolutely.
How we're gonna do this. And I think you three would be wonderful talking about what's going on with Schultz and anybody else for that part.
Yeah.
Especially you have to be there, because you're the one that has all the statistics and what you're doing.
It would be nice to, especially, you know, we're going north, just the first step, just we can sit down with the McNairs and see what
Mhm.
interests they would have and what their plans are.
Yeah.
At one time, Tom, they were very interested in letting us annex some of their property, and what they wanted to do was be able to have enough control to say what type of commercial businesses would go
Yeah.
in.
They were talking about that at the meetings
Yes.
for the comprehensive.
That might be
That's all they wanted, was that they would have some input into what we would actually be putting there commercially.
I think basically what we need to do is just sit down with them and Charlie and set up a zoning map
Mhm.
and how that would work. We might need a little bit of an attorney's input to make sure that they feel comfortable with it.
Mhm.
Because he's gonna protect, I mean, they have every right to
Of course.
interest their property. But, they've been shafted a few times,
They have,
so,
they have.
but I think we can sit down there. I was thinking value of the town, you know, if we were to annex both sides of the highway, that county road would probably be plowed 10 times better with the town doing it than the county, because it's not a high priority road for the county
No.
Oh, sure,
to their house.
Mhm.
If we had that, that'd be more road for us, and we'd take care of it. Bubba would do an excellent job. He'd have the police coverage. I mean, it's so interesting when I hear people from outside of town saying they worry about driving through Westville because they're worried about getting pulled over. That's awesome.
I work hard at that.
I was just driving here and I saw, but anyways, that's kind of but it makes people know that Westville's watched like a hawk, so I think that's good. You're not gonna have people just whipping through here because we speed racing down 421.
Oh, yeah, I'm like I said, I'm cleaning out the ordinance plant, and I hear them say, you know, for the guys that are coming through Westville, like, hey, don't speed, like 4 miles over.
One of my staff, who is just a hoot, he's an older guy that works for me part-time, he said, he came through here and he saw the police had, there were 2 cars, 2 of you guys had cars stopped. He said, I thought, damn, Regina. You're not a very friendly town, you got all your cops stopping people.
Ian is killing it with that unmarked pickup truck.
Oh, yeah, I saw him get 2 people today, like within the house.
And he loves doing traffic, so he's like, he even say, I gotta go traffic. Oh, yeah, he's
What color is his unmarked truck?
blue.
Blue, okay. I saw it the other day, I thought,
He was sitting at the stoplight the other day, and it turned green, and I guess he didn't go fast enough, or whoever's behind him, and they laid on the horn.
oh.
He lit them up, and they looked, and they were like, oh.
Oh, yeah. That was a good.
What do you think is clerk treasurer is going north to annex?
Clerk treasurer,
Mm-hmm.
I think going anywhere to get any kind of property tax money is great.
And that's where we would get.
We are, I can't say this word, we are thirsty for that.
Yeah, so, and that is a given, that's gonna bring in tax relief.
Absolutely, I mean, I would be great.
And once we do that, then we can, people may notice us, and they may want to come in after
Right.
this center gets established and people are hearing
Right.
about what's available for them.
And I think, obviously, starting 2020, it took me 4 years, but we made it to 24/7, starting 2020.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
um,
so that's another positive.
the only thing that I talked with the sheriff about it quite a bit, and, cause he's gonna help us get, whoever we hire, get through the academy, cause it'd be tight for a good 6
Oh,
months.
that's wonderful.
And he said, well, absolutely, he goes, we'll help you, the light at the end of the tunnel is your 24/7. And he asked, you know, what would you need from us then in the future? And I said, I mean, really, John, the only thing we're never gonna have, I mean, I'm never gonna have special teams, so SWAT team, if we have to kick in a door or something like that, back up for any catastrophic event, you know, obviously we would need help from you, but really, unless it's something like a murder or attempted murder, the last crime scene they helped us with was in 2014 when we had the home invasion and the suspicious suicide back-to-back.
Mhm.
Those are the last two crime scenes they've helped us with. We haven't had to call them out. I mean, we've used their facilities, we've gone to their department and used their recording, or Ian has gone and used one of the detectives who has expertise in technology, you know, that type of, you know, tracing cell phones and IP addresses and stuff like that, but we have not called them out for anything. And so I think, you know, it's working. And I have a lot of faith after attending the Northwestern class. I'm starting Nate in Northwestern starting next year with they have a whole investigations section in their police training in the public safety school. So they do such a good job in their academic, it's like way up here compared to anything else. So I think I'm going to start Nate every year, get him into as many of those investigative classes as I can, because he's the guy that just really enjoys digging into stuff and kind of putting the puzzle together.
Yeah, that, you know, that takes a special kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody can do that. Not every cop's good at investigating.
I'm not, I hate them. I don't enjoy it. I would rather be doing something completely crazy, you know, people throwing punches and speeding
Yeah.
cars, and that's my thing. Sitting down and picking through a report, and
Yeah.
you can have
Like
it.
picking
Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
a piece of pepper out of the salt shaker.
Yeah. So you can have it, so
Yeah.
he likes to do it, so it's all his.
That's great, great. So how do we go about starting this? What's the next steps?
Well, I think the next step is us to have a meet after this and do a map of where these targeted areas are, and we talk about what would be, how we go about each one.
Okay.
Who are the players, how we're gonna sell it,
Would
how we're gonna
somebody,
get people on board.
would somebody be able to advise us on, like, if we're gonna do this, do we do it in one whole big move, or do we do it over years and years and years and do one piece at a time?
Well, I think first step, we identify what we think are those locations, who the players are, and then maybe we reach out to that, if we have budget, to reach out to that consultant on annexation.
As a police officer, do you have any dealings with Hobart at all?
The academy.
Well, the reason I'm asking is that the mayor of Hobart is Brian Snedecor. And so Brian Snedecor was just kind of like a beat police officer at Hobart, over near like the I-65 Route 6 corridor of Hobart. And so anyhow, he moved up through the ranks, he became chief of police, then he became the mayor. And so Hobart, between 1990 and 2000, they annexed the South Lake Mall from Maryville, and they annexed all that big shopping area. So they basically, just like we're trying to go up 421 to the toll road, they went up 65. And so anyhow, just as a person who is a career police officer, I would think maybe you might have some kind of access to him or be able to...
I can get an introduction to him through Brian Miller.
It would be cool, just to find out, how did Hobart go about it? Did Hobart bite off a couple, small pieces, or did you guys just
That's a
do
good
it?
idea.
Yeah, I can do that.
I will tell you, Charlie and I have talked about this, because he's very familiar with the annexation process, and he said, although it's changed very much, to be able to do it, as you start to do it, don't get discouraged because of all the stuff that's changed, because it's not as easy as it used to be. But he said, you'll gain momentum, and then you might get, like, a roadblock. But it's not impossible, so, it's, you just have to really you have to be very serious about it and keep pushing forward.
Do you have access to the documents when they became a conservancy?
Oh, possibly.
Because in those documents, when we signed off, the town signed off and gave them our blessing, there were statements in there about they would not.
Okay. I'm sure I will,
There's someplace.
oh, absolutely.
So that would be good for everyone to see exactly, since we're going that direction first, for everyone to see exactly what they agreed to in the very beginning. And that's been what, 20 years, almost 20 years ago?
Oh, goodness.
15?
I don't know. I'm gonna send myself a note.
Okay.
Because I'll forget, but I'm sure they're in one of the files.
Because that was a long, drawn-out affair, making that all happen, between the town and Purdue. And there was a lot of thought put into that.
Yep.
And I know that's one thing that I told Randy, I said, whatever you do, make sure that you have a clause in there that says they will not remonstrate if we want to annex them at a later date.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gotta be in an agreement somewhere with us,
Yeah,
I would think,
yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think getting all that information together when we do go to
Oh, yeah.
that person to help us through the process.
Having all that together, all your ducks in a row.
And it comes off a lot better with whoever that is.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot cheaper that way too.
It is. It truly is.
And if a lot of the homework's done and expectations are kind of set, so.
But it's doable. It's very doable.
Oh, yeah. It's not as easy as it used to be, but absolutely doable. Charlie was 100% on board, and he would help us with anything.
Yeah,
He's
he's also,
not like your
Yeah.
specialist,
Yeah.
but he knows a lot, and
Sure.
he does a
He
lot for
can
us.
guide us through a
Oh,
lot.
sure,
he's very generous.
very
He
generous,
is.
so. now
Well, we
we'll-
could bring him into that first meeting too,
Oh, yeah.
so.
Yeah.
But, well, anything else anybody wants to?
Nope, I'm excited.
Mhm.
Can't you tell?
Me too.
Thank you, it'd be good.
What do you think? Are you excited about this?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I just gotta think the next step is to find out, what the other kids have done in the past as far as, how they went about it, and then we'll be,
Mhm.
And that's,
put together a little map and then go after the players.
that's very good. Very good. Yeah, we don't need to recreate everything that's already been done.
Nice hearing some people went through, what to expect, so when you do get those challenges.
Well, you don't have any surprises
Yeah.
if you know what to expect.
And with that, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Aye, aye, aye.